So I have one thing to say about Street Fighter 6. I thought I really didn't like the way it looked. I don't. I actually do like the way it looked when the Guile trailer came out. What I hate is Luke. And I hate Luke so much, and he's in so much of that original trailer that I was like, man, the game looks bad. Because I look at Luke and I'm like, that looks bad.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, I don't know. Um, I now that I've seen a whole lot of it in action, and Max was able to go in and get a whole bunch of footage too. And he's got a great video on it. He's got 2 hours solid match footage playing against the devs as well, getting to see the whole system top to bottom, and that's probably some of the best footage you're gonna get in 4K, mind you. I'm like, okay, I see what's going on. I see what they're going for. I understand the decisions and the changes. And a lot of the things I had concerns about, questions about when we were discussing it last, now that I have the answers and all the pieces kind of fit together, I get it. And I admire the gumption of just like, we're doing new shit. I admire that. I think it's cool to be like, yep, you're not going to call this Street Fighter V Part 2 or Street Fighter 4 Part 2 or Third Strike Part 2 or anything. It's
Oh, it
doing its
is
own,
kind of Third Strike Part 2 more
but
than
not
anything else.
quite. But not quite. Just because a parry's there is not that's that because it's not the same thing, right?
That's
It does have a parry, and it is a parry that will respond instantly, but that's not enough. The way it's used in application is different enough, and the other stuff happening. I look at this and I'm like, no, I can see this being wildly different from every other Street Fighter, in significant ways enough that I say like it's its own thing.
It says a lot to me when they were showing they had some stuff coming out on Twitter about the game that they're like, look at these taunts that are obviously specific to certain characters against other characters. Look how many little details and features and desperate needs to have the game not come out bare bones again we are doing. We
Um,
promise it'll have a lot of stuff in it.
and again, to like echo what Max was saying in his video, he asked them about that, and when he spoke to the devs, and they apparently said, yeah, we learned from that launch and we don't want to repeat that, so we're doing the opposite this time around. The and something that he says there too, which is very possible as well, is that like this what we're looking at could definitely be like it's a honeymoon phase of a fighting game when you just see all the new things and it's novel, but you have to see how it fleshes out in real life. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a pretty on point thought as well. But like at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, um, I like the new thing for taking on like its own identity. That's something that is like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. There's always definitely a question when as we get closer to this upcoming out, whenever we fast forward in time from now, a lot of folks are going to start asking, hey, you know what, I think I kind of want to try this, what should I do to get ready for it, or what should I play to, and like at this pace it's like, well, really anything that any Street Fighter game might give you approximately the same amount of familiarity,
I would
but
say that. Well, not one.
not one, but anything 2 and up will give you approximately the same amount of familiarity, in that it's like, the same style of fighting game, but like the intricacies are going to be unique in this case, so into the nitty-gritty of it.
Yeah, because like if you get too deep into it and you're in SF5 and you're learning so and so and you're like, oh man, these block strings are tough, and then you go to SF6 and the people can just hit a button that says, I don't want to deal with block strings.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to think about that.
So the wildest thing that is happening in this game is the fact that, like, you can call it the drive system, the V system, whatever. What is actually happening is they took the guard meter and turned it into a resource, which never happens. The guard meter is meant to usually just be, you see that, and when it fills up, your guard's going to get broken, or when it fills up, you're going to get stunned, right?
Yeah.
And here they went, what if that becomes your offense and defensive capabilities, and we give you a ton of things you can do, but they all take away from that, you know?
I have to say, it's one of the things that I look at the way people talk about Strive and how Roman canceling is the fucking be-all, end-all, and there's like 8 different Roman cancels, but it also takes your real meter.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks. Where in
Yeah.
SF6, it's like, no, you have your meter for your
Yep.
for your supers because that's what you want to use them on.
Yeah.
And then you have this other meter that is all your other shenanigans.
Now, there's no proof of this whatsoever, but I would be very surprised if they said, or rather, I feel confident that that design is thinking about stamina. I bet you
Yeah, sure, that makes
the
sense.
concept of stamina and how it's such a thing, especially, you know, in Souls games now, is being thought about when you implement it into this design, because you can't actually take actions that are common and needed and limit them in this game, or rather, not without radically redesigning what a fighting game is here. But you can take key defensive actions and key offensive actions and make those replenishable and or drainable by attacking the person's life and that meter. So
Yeah, it makes sense because like they call it exhausted when the bar is empty.
right, you're in burnout. When I saw that and I saw the idea of the replenishing bar, I was like, okay, MK11 did something with the replenishing bar, and you know, if you recall, I was saying like I'm worried about the idea of laming it out and just having a point where you're like, it's not worth taking the risk to fight somebody or something like that. Does not apply now that we've seen some key elements about it, some key details, which are that when you block, you lose from that meter, from your drive meter. When you get hit by certain things, you lose drive meter. And when you stand still, it comes back slowly, but when you fight, it comes back way faster. So you are never incentivized to really lame it out, because you're going to be in trouble longer than if you were to fight back, you know? That's a really smart thing to do.
Well, it's like, I mean, people have been asking for guard break for a million years because guard break rules, and guard break incentivizes getting in there and just beating on somebody until they crack.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just guard break times 5.
And then on top of that, now you have this like, you know, if Guilty Gear Strive is letting you out from the wall pressure and rewarding your opponent, Street Fighter is saying, fuck you, you live in the wall, you that is your home now, you die
Push
on the
them
wall.
to the wall.
When you get focus attacked on the wall, you basically have to eat a free combo. It's like your guard is opened up. That is a really, nothing as vulnerable as that has ever happened in Street Fighter in terms of the basic system. Defense and blocking usually is like, at worst, you're gonna like, you know, blow that guard meter open after too much of it, or you get thrown. But for the most part, blocking is blocking, you know? And this is the first time something radical like that has happened, where it's like, you're in the corner now. It's more than just bad for you because it's harder to avoid mix-ups. You can straight up just open them up, and that's the preferable choice. So you see that happen, and you know that you're on the wall, even if you block their focus attack or the drive rush. Not rush, whatever, I forget what the word is, but I'm going to call it a focus attack. That means you know they want to do that.
Oh, I think it's called a drive impact, but I'm going to call it focus
yes.
attack.
Yeah. You also know that you are they're going to have to spend resources to do that. You can expect to see it coming, thus you can parry it. But
you can also do it back to them.
Exactly. And then you can do it, if you do it second, then you eat that first hit and so on. So it creates, you know, a little interesting like, oh, we're right here. I know very much what you want to do right here. And And there's still room for usual corner mix-ups. There's still room for, ambiguous cross-ups and, all kinds of basic, like, corner pressure. But this one is so rewarding that it's most likely what you're going to see people going for. And so you can, design your whole defensive strategy around expecting it, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're depleted, when you're in burnout, you just can't use any of those mechanics we're discussing. And if you block the impact and then get wall splatted, you go into the stunned completely with the stars state. So like
That's how you get dizzy now. It's not.
That's how you get dizzy.
Not an automatic hidden gauge. It's a concerted effort.
Yeah, that flow of gameplay is so different from anything Street Fighter usually does that is like, to me, like defining the way the corner plays is drastic. Street Fighter has never done like KOF, like different like tag versus rounds, or like the line system in Real Bout and Fatal Fury. Like,
Or
it hasn't
wall
played.
splats.
It doesn't play with that stuff. It really just plays with your meter and how you use it. And here that's massive, right? So that's interesting. That's cool. I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. The second thing being that parries are back, but different, and the answer they were searching for in 5 by exploring all the different types of parries is they've arrived at the conclusion, and the conclusion is, okay, we need this to serve 3 functions essentially. We need parries to, first and foremost, make anybody who knows what they used to be like in Third Strike enjoy that feeling.
Yay.
Right? Enjoy the like, I'm in your fucking head, I called you out, and now you're going to pay for that. Don't be predictable, right? So the full parry that comes out immediately and has a 3-frame active window is like, this is for you, Third Strike players, right? This is for you. You're going to get
Feels
big
like the
rewards
good old
off of this.
days.
Mm-hmm. That is, at high level, it's going to happen constantly, and it's going to get nuts. But that's a implementation that is meant to appease people looking for that old feeling. The reason why parries in Street Fighter V didn't feel as good is because you couldn't
they have
do them.
startup, for fuck's sake.
They had startup, exactly. You had to do them even earlier than the hard call out you'd expect from, like, again, Third Strike speeds. So that makes all the difference in the world. And
it went from good read to like legitimate telepathy.
Yes. However, the other thing is, in addition to having startup, they had cooldown. They had a missed animation for whiffing it, which Third Strike didn't, because you just tapped forward, right? So now, while having the instantaneous payoff for the reward, you have the, I fucked up, now you have to deal with it, oh shit, I'm vulnerable animation. And it lasts long enough that you can get thrown or hit. And if you do, you take you're in a punish counter state, which is essentially a new thing that's like, it's not a counter hit, but it's the equivalent of where a crush counter used to be. Mm-hmm. Where you're now going to be like really vulnerable for bigger, heavier damaging combos. So high risk, high reward. Old school fans that wanted that feeling of like good reads now land it, but when you fuck up, you're gonna eat it.
And then for the Guilty Gear players, hey, look, do you like faultless defense?
It's FD at the same time. Hold the button down, and now you have something that's taking away from your resource instead of your life. And the fact that you can hold parry state and it just keeps going is like, oh, that's not a parry at all. That's no timing required. It's just eating all the things you're doing. And it's like, yeah, that gives you FD from Guilty Gear, and it does the other thing, which Street Fighter V wanted to do, which is, okay, fireballs are here. A lot of beginners find fireballs really annoying to deal with, and zoning is tough. So they gave everyone like V skills that can more or less deal with them. Now it's like, no, the whole cast can just stand there and parry that. But in exchange, fireballs can be insanely fast again. Yeah. In that Guile trailer, there's one like combo he does where you see a sonic boom that is like ridiculous speeds. Like it
Looks like an EX Sonic Boom.
almost, yeah. You know. And so I'm wondering, what is an EX Sonic Boom going to be like nigh unreactable at mid range? You know, crazy speeds. So that's the trade off: is fireballs can be stronger again, but you can have a button that you hold that is like, fuck off, I don't want to deal with your zoning. You know, and then of course that replenishes your guard meter, but you also still have the cooldown on the end of it. So you can't just go straight from a like holding the button down parry that's like a badly timed parry into whatever kind of response you want. In fact, if you were to like block or parry something with a slower parry and then try to respond, you might completely miss the opportunity to punish them, you know? So that's there to... So like the first 3 frames are for third strike players, and then frames 4 through infinity are for new players and 5 players essentially, and they just kind of put it all together.
Especially when you parry it correctly, and all of a sudden the game goes fucking basically freeze frame, and like, okay, take a breath, do the thing that you want to do.
Yeah. So all that really does is it. I mean, again, old third strike players will be like, "Oh, I got my parry. I can interrupt the animation and do what I want." But for newer players, it's going to be like, "Yep, here's the time to get anything you want started, and you're going to punish what you parried." You know, so that's a reasonable compromise to letting one feature or one defensive function address all the different crowds that are here. You know, those 2 buttons, the 2 medium buttons together, they serve all these functions, and people are gonna use them as comfortably as they want to, and that's a smart design, you know. And because it's so easy to do, like the ebb and flow of like, oh shit, I'm running low on drive gauge, better start parrying more often. He's running low on drive gauge, he's going to start parrying more often, let me throw that fucker, you know. So that's coherent now, you know. I get it. I couldn't tell that from the initial footage, but I can see that's a smart thing. I also like that, of course, because you're designing everything around this, you get to just spend that super bar on supers and
The things that you actually want to spend them on.
the big cool shit, you know? And the thing that feels good that people want to do, which is do a simple confirm into some normals, right? Get a nice little combo going, cancel into an EX. Now the EX costs drive, so that full level 3 is ready to spend on a nice big finish. Feels good. You know, put it all together.
I've been playing fighting games on and off. I've been on a long break now, but like since I was a kid, and like one of the scrubbiest fucking mentalities I have never in my life been able to break is I fucking hate EX moves in their entirety, because it means I won't be able to do the big cool super later. Like, yeah, I could actually be a lot safer and a lot better in 10 different situations with an EX move, but that means I won't get the big level 3 at the end.
Right. Competitive utility would be that, like, you're burning resources on things that don't matter when you should be saving it for the things that do, you know?
And then I sit on the level 3 for like a half a round, and I actually have like a full bar of completely wasted meter.
Yeah. And that's not just about the feeling as well. It also creates massive design decisions when your character relies on those resources. For example, most people played Street Fighter V making use of the V system offensively and defensively as needed to turn the round back in their favor if they were getting pressured, or if you got a nice opening going. As an Akali player, fuck you. I'm almost never using V reversal.
Yeah, why would you ever? You want the good Akali.
I need my activation as early as possible, you know. So yeah, this kind of like addresses that and just dedicates your full super meter to the good shit. And the things that you can do without spending the full meter are still nice. Like it'll be, your install, your level 2s. And what's fun too is little bit of a 25% before you die, you get a critical art. You get an even shinier, fancier, bigger damaging
Yeah.
ultra, you know? So
Is
that's
it weird to you when you look at like Jamie, for example, and you look into him and he combine like did you prefer Yun or Yang?
I always preferred Yang.
Okay, me too. But they've combined that with Hakan
Mhm.
with Nikali.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Like, oh,
All
I guess
together.
I have to play him now.
And he's awesome once he gets drunk. So
Yeah, like
have fun with that.
his
In my
design
world, we're all feeling
substantially
it.
improves once he's drunk.
Yeah. And then the seeing the critical art as well with the fucking the neck break.
Yeah.
And like they line up and do like sticky hands, which is like a kung fu training thing where you line up your two hands together like that. That shit
Yeah.
looks so nice, you know?
Yeah, but at the same time, there's always a fun thing where like Ryu is the one doing it, and Ryu like throws out like the shittiest left hand ever because the opponent always has to do the same thing.
Yes, yeah. But no, that and then on that note, like seeing the aesthetics that come around from character select screen to matchup versus screen, that shit's fucking that hits, man. It is absolutely street, and like I can just see like for years to come, everyone just being like, yeah. Started from the bottom, now I'll never look back. Like we're gonna just get into that. Like that'll be the new like let's get it on now. Yeah, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
immediately
Yeah.
got a strong identity. And like I hope there's tons and tons of lines in that little like very quick look player one, look at player two, make your stupid faces, let's go. Hit the rematch button, super quick intros, let's go. Stylish and so brief by comparison to the hyper elaborate stuff because Street Fighter 4 felt like, okay guys, we've committed to 3D and we're going to do all the big intros and show off all the 3D and the answer lies in the heart of battle,
Which is fun for the first 5 times per character.
and then you couldn't mash faster after that. And here
Yeah.
it's like one line, bam. I love the stylishness of mankind knew that they could not change society.
Yeah.
Like that is something that is super stylish and fun, and you're gonna want to watch that every once in a while. But for the most part, you're like I'm willing to
Skip
take
it,
a minute
man.
right now, but you're skipping that shit. Here it is so brief and quick. So all of that looks great and feels great.
And importantly, when asked by numerous different people and sources, it will have full crossplay and it will use the rollback, but it won't use SF5's rollback. It will be a new and improved rollback, which, okay, great.
Should
Good.
be up for discussion.
Fine, moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah, it shouldn't be, and it's not a discussion, but like people kept asking, like, no, is it? And like, give us a goddamn answer. It's like when we talk about fucking Starfield later, like the question everyone had is like, show us you talking to a character in a dialogue. Why isn't that in the trailer? That's the only thing people really want to know.
So the other things too is just looking over some of that move list, like a willingness to have just an obscene amount of command normals Chun-Li and Jamie can do at certain points, really extensive stuff, because I guess it's just like, look, we're splitting the difference here. You can go modern mode or you can go classic. If you're going classic, holy shit, you've got button options. And that is, again, like, that seems cool. Chun-Li is one of those characters that gets reinvented every single time she shows up. But, here it seems like you're getting the best of all worlds, especially having the upkicks and stuff. And, yeah, I like seeing how, okay, there's a point where you know what the optimal combo or punish is going to be. And what it looks like here is it's going to be something to the effect of like perfect parry, hard punch, forward, FADC, hard punch again, link into like a medium, EX, level 3, right?
Yeah.
and that'll
Oh yeah,
do
we're gonna have EXs in the level 3s because of the way this works now.
absolutely. What you cannot do is regular Hadoken into super, right? You can only do EXs, it seems, because they specifically want you to spend a resource for that level of flourish. Otherwise, it's got to be clean. Um, and so that seems like it'll be like the optimal kind of punishes we'll start seeing. And that rhythm also is like, if you're someone that only came in at Street Fighter V, that initial like hard punch or hard kick and then forward forward is going to read exactly like a crush counter dash forward would read, you know?
Yeah,
So
and like
there's,
a really easy FADC.
yep, exactly. So that's familiar to the 5 players. And then, of course, the drive impact, which is such a big part of the game, the big focus attack, as we described. If you're a 4 player, you already know what you're getting. So, like I can see just the little bits and pieces where it's like, okay, this is going to be kind of similar to that. And yeah, that's that flow that revolves around just like the more I pressure you, the more I take away from, your stamina, your guard meter, your resources, your ability to do EXs, your ability to parry, all of that. I'm taking away from that away from you as I pressure you. That's different, So Street Fighter 6, very very excited by that design change. I think
It's
that's
promising.
really cool. Definitely. Guile they just showed off the trailer for Guile, and they're gonna have like just frame sonic booms. So if you charge like perfectly and release, you'll be able to do his old like sonic boom strings. So seems like they're willing to go, variable with things like that as well. Like you want to play normal Guile and do the things he's always done, that's fine. But if you've got perfect timing, you can get even more out of the character. All right, they're lifting this. They're lifting the ceiling. They're the floor is lowered. They're opening it up. Let's see how this goes when it comes to some of the more advanced characters. Like I would like to see a world where like a character like Minot shows up and you go, oh my god, that is insanely scary and intimidating, but there is still a functional version of her that you can use effectively, even if you can't do the crazy shit, you know?
Yeah, for me, I'm looking at like the ability of having some form of faultless defense makes me feel a lot more comfortable looking at a character that's like Minot, where I get crossed up. I don't the ball and the fucking just like right and like I'll gladly blow a resource to be like, no, let me just not think about this. Let me just turn this off for like a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever, crush it. It's fine.
There will be like the term "take the throw" is now going to be more applicable than ever, because it's like, there's some situations where like there's such an insane mix-up happening where a character can blow you up in a lot of ways and you eat a lot of damage, where it's better off to just block everything and get thrown, and like holding focus and then just be like, I don't want to get mixed up here, just throw me. Like it feels like it might happen more often with this system.
I am eager to play a game in which people are holding a button down to parry and Geef has his fucking light punch fucking SPD range.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
Yep. Or button and then FADC and then SPD range.
Fab. Yeah.
So that I guess the only question is just going to be like, all right, well, let's see what kind of damage we're talking about. Let's see what kind of speeds and zoning abilities we're talking about, because you're going to have that with Geef, but you're going to be dealing with the fastest sonic booms in the fucking world.
Yeah, I saw.
So
I have to say, I just want for Street Fighter in general. I have accidentally given myself a form of brain rot in that I am like, I feel very weird talking about Zangief's green hand
mm-hmm.
or SPD because like my brain just auto shifts to my actual dog.
Oh, yeah.
In particular, I am reminded of a comment I saw a few days ago where that cat has Zangief's face on it. And one guy was like, I feel like I have brain damage because I just spent 10 minutes looking for that stupid dog.
And even Geef for short doesn't help.
No, because that's what I call him most of the time. I do call him Boopus, though. I don't think Zangief in the game is going to be nicknamed Boopus.
Not likely.
I mean, he could be.
But yeah. That I'm definitely looking forward to, are they going to give Blanca the goddamn electric ball finally? The CVS to just electric rolling ball. Just will he
just straight
just the straight fuck you ball. Will you ever give it back? I know it was too good.
Nah.
Build around it. You know.
Nah.
Give it back and build around it. Cause
I don't know.
Giving
Guile like just frame sonic booms that are the fastest thing that's ever been makes me feel like old characters are going to come back a lot less like themselves than we're used to.
Or more like they'll be themselves, and then there'll be another system on top of them. The core is there, but then there's other shit going on.
Like, did you know you can build up electricity stacks on your opponent as Blanca?
Right, exactly, you know? Or, like, put little, like, fucking lightning traps down on the ground or some weird shit. And then hop on them, and who the fuck knows, you know? Yeah. Cool. Street Fighter 6, with more footage and system explanation. Yeah, optimistic.
It's gonna be really silly watching them go, then we're gonna announce a new character on Friday, and everyone's like, oh cool, I wonder who it could be.
Yeah, I mean, it's still always exciting to see them in action, but exactly, like, the entire wad is
it's just silly. It's just silly.
The entire wad is blown, you know.
I'm pretty convinced that's why they were showing off so many of these ancillary features lately, like the taunts and the screen. And
now, World Tour is the biggest mystery in the game.
Yeah, until next week when the whole thing leaks out.
So they did say at the end of the Capcom presentation there will be one more announcement before the end of the year, and you know it's going to be at the end of EVO, so, you know,
yeah,
like, expect that to come in August. Yeah.
That makes sense.
When it's all said and done, they gonna call me a legend.
Yo, the music video for the song is like really low budget.
Oh,
it's really
yeah.
it's very like
sure.
humble.
But it's not even that song though, right? It was the trailer song. It wasn't the character select matchup versus song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the one I want to really hear. You know, the yeah song, and everyone is gonna have their favorite dumb face for their character, or dumb fat character face sequence. Right? Are you gonna be Pouty Chun-Li, Smiling Ryu? Right? I'm like kind of wondering as well as like, did they see the reaction to Happy Fortnite Ryu and go, oh yeah, let's just capitalize on that too while we're at it?
No.
Plus the beard, plus all the other
I think
shit.
somebody was playing Soul Calibur 2 and was like, right, yeah, good.
Wind.